So now I'd like to bring in Senior Vice President for Weather Content and Forecast Operations and our Chief Meteorologist here at AccuWeather, Jonathan Porter, to kind of pick up as we talk to Dan Kaiser about that study, which certainly is really very important now, I think, as we go through this year because of the increased amounts of COVID that we're seeing again with the Delta variant, now the Delta Plus variant, and this story of wildfires and smoke problems that are going to continue to plague many parts of our country, not only for the next couple of weeks, but really months. And John, as we look at this, I know AccuWeather has really, over the last couple of years, even before this thought about smoke and air pollution and COVID, and that nexus between how one would affect the other or vice versa, we'd already been planning to really up our forecasting situation in terms of air quality and looking at that. And I think we've done a great job. And it seems like that part of the equation, not only whether to get it right, whether it's going to rain or not, or be sunny or not, but how good the air is becomes more and more important every day when we look at it.
Dean, I think that's spot on. And in fact, that's the response that we've heard from our consumers and also our business customers here at AccuWeather who have had an increasing interest in air quality, recognizing the real toll that air quality has on human health in terms of the kinds of damage that can quickly happen if people are breathing in these fine particulates or some of the gases that result in air quality reductions. It can have real health impacts. And here at AccuWeather, we actually believe that air pollution is the number one weather-related impact to people globally, even more than negative impacts to people's health and safety from hurricanes and from flooding, all kinds of other types of severe weather.
The traditional weather things that we tracked and said, oh, these are really bad things. This part of it becomes even more damaging in the long term to our human health.
It sure does. It's, as you said, really bad when you start breathing in continuously air that is polluted. And increasingly, as we're seeing across the country here, even in the last couple of weeks, the places that are seeing air quality reductions as a result of some of the wildfire smoke has been widespread. The smoke is being transferred thousands and thousands of miles away from where it's being produced.
And part of it, too, is, look, I'm mid-50s. You're just a tad younger, John. But we grew up, at least I grew up with air pollution general issues when I was a kid in the 70s. So, looking outside at times, I would see here in Pennsylvania gray skies a lot. There was that, but that was more emissions from the surface that we were doing with the cars and the fuel and that kind of thing. Now, again, and this is a different scenario because a lot of this goes back to, and I don't want to get caught in the minutia here, but practices in terms of the way we forested those areas out west. So more fires, worse fires. I mean, I was looking at the satellite last night. You could see the fire on the infrared GOES satellite. That's how hot these fires are. So these are going to continue to burn. So, yeah, it's something I don't think a lot of us, and especially younger folks, are used to. Why is the sky so gray and tinged with gray when it feels so good and beautiful out? That's a little counterintuitive.
It is, and it also has been surprising to some people that, as we talked about days in advance here at AccuWeather when it happened, the episodes on the East Coast where the smoke has been not only just obscuring the sky, as you mentioned, Dean, but actually down to the ground to the point where you're smelling it, right?
Right. And we weren't, it was funny. I went through that a couple of weeks ago and I didn't, some people like smelling smoke. I'm wondering about that. But yeah, just the way the atmosphere can work sometimes, it can force it down. And especially when we get the longer stretches of heat and humidity, which seems to like trap and get, you get so stagnant. So I wanted to talk to you. And again, we're talking to John Porter here, our Senior Vice President for Weather Content and Forecast Operations, our Chief Meteorologist. What are some of the things AccuWeather's doing? I know we have partnered with some folks to get better air quality information that we put on our app and put on our website on a daily basis. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a great tool, and it's available for free on the AccuWeather app. You just download our AccuWeather app out of the App Store or Google Play and search AccuWeather to do that. And right on the home screen, Dean, to your point, we have the air quality index. down to your neighborhood. Now, air quality is an interesting thing because it can vary quite a lot, just like the weather. We know
in a day, in a day,
an hour,
right? Right. And we've seen that too on some days where I look at St. Louis and I look at all the webcams, clear as a bell. By the afternoon, it's all hazy because that bit of smoke in the atmosphere has moved, and that can happen into the surface quickly, like you said.
You got it, and that's available. You can see how it is today, and then our forecast out to the next several days, hour by hour, pinpointed down to your neighborhood. And it's a great tool to if you're going to think about protecting yourself, enhancing your health around minimizing outdoor activities during these times when there are air quality problems. Now, the other thing I'll mention that's for, again, accessible for free, everybody. We also have that on maps, so you can see how it varies across your area and across the state or around the country if you're interested as well as that information being provided globally. Now, for businesses, Dean, we also are providing some new unique services around alerting around air quality.
And this is under our AccuWeather for Business umbrella.
Yes, around the AccuWeather for Business umbrella, because some states, like California, for example, California's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, Cal-OSHA, has rules that they put into place last year that when the air quality goes above 150, so that's when there starts to be some real concerns from a pollution perspective, and then again when that air quality index gets above 500, that's a really, really bad air quality day.
Right.
There are certain rules that employers who have people working outside have to provide N95 masks and make other accommodations. So we tie directly into those different levels and notify businesses on a location-by-location basis through our SkyGuard platform so that they can start enhancing safety for their staff members and make sure that they're compliant, which is obviously very important with the state regulations. So we're going to see more and more of that, Dean, I think.
And I think the other thing that we can do, John, is educate, because I think one of these things, and sometimes with all these indices and stuff, people don't understand. I mean, we did that a little bit with Mr. Kaiser there, talking about what the difference between fine particulate matter 2.5 and 20 and ozone and those kinds of things. But yeah, as we educate people of what those numbers really mean, I mean, we know that a temperature 90 or better feels hot. We know that a wind that's 60 miles per hour or stronger can be damaging. What do those numbers mean? And I think we'll continue to do that. This wildfire situation, as I said, from a forecast standpoint, I mean, I just don't see this alleviating anytime soon in the next few months. Those Canadian wildfires, probably another month or two, and the ones out west, I mean, that could be several months as this continues.
It could be several months, and as you point out, we're starting now to get into the heart of the wildfire season here over the coming months in places like Northern California and then eventually Southern California as we head through the end of the summer and into the fall. So those fires, unfortunately, that situation is going to be getting worse, which creates more of an opportunity for the western United States and other parts of the country, as we've seen, to be dealing with a smoke issue. Even if your community is not affected by a wildfire, there's the possibility that you could be dealing with health impacts from the significant wildfire season that we're talking about, underpinned by this horrible multi-year drought across the South or across the Southwest.
To listen to the full episode, just click the links below. And never miss a podcast by subscribing to Everything Under the Sun on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. New episodes every Friday.